Hey everyone, it's Jason. Welcome to another classic unboxing component video for X-Men Crisis in the Danger Room. This is another very old game from 1994. This is my personal copy. As you can tell by the box, it's pretty beat up. I used to play these games as a ton. They didn't get stored very well. This is, I was a kid. This was way many years ago. Yeah, the games didn't get stored always the best after, I think as a kid playing them, they got stored. I think it was in between being a kid and becoming an adult when I stopped playing these particular games as much, because I outgrew this style of game of the, roll or spin a spinner and then move and do actions, and I started getting into more of the games that had, variable powers and things like that. I'm not going to say adult games, just, more games with more options and more control on what you did. Games like these, which are meant for younger kids, it's just 6 and up. Yeah, it kind of got damaged and got stored badly in that, but I did put it together as best as I could. But I thought it'd be fun to review this. I did another one, X-Men Alert, which is a game that came out previously to this, which has a lot more stuff in it. This is a lot simpler of a game, but this has some really interesting, neat features I thought I'd show. First of all, the box art is actually in itself really neat. I love the fact that it looks like someone actually redrew this versus just taking art from random things and putting them together. So that's definitely cool. So what is this game? Well, it's a Danger Room game. Danger Room Simulator. So, ooh, there's Spawn back there. I'm trying to drop my camera off the table, trying to show this game off my camera back up. So, the game itself is very simple. You build this 3D structure, though, of the Danger Room. It uses the box to kind of hold some of the tiles in. You put the little 3D things up. So that's one downside. You gotta pull these apart every time. So although they are cardboard, they are gonna start having some wear and tear. Again, mine also got stored badly since some of the pictures are coming off. The board's kind of warping in a bit. There's maybe some dirt or duster on there, just from being, again, stored improperly. If we go up there, we got Professor X up in there. But what you're trying to do is play as one of 4 X-Men, and trying to defeat the simulated versions of Apocalypse, Sabretooth, Juggernaut, and Magneto. So our 4 X-Men we're going to get these little miniatures. I'm going to slide this aside so maybe we can... You can't really focus on these. Let's do this. Let's turn this around. And then we have a little bit better back maybe to look at. So we're going to get 4 heroes. We're going to get Cyclops here, which has this classic 90s outfit. Again, these are actually fairly detailed for, I think, like, being a mass-produced game. Like, I think they look pretty good. We have the Beast, Henry McCoy. We get Gambit. And then finally we have Wolverine. Now, if you saw the other video I did for the X-Men Alert game, which also had little miniatures like this, I believe they're the same size. You could play these backwards compatible if you're mixing the miniatures. You use these guys instead of the other ones if you want. But you also bring all them characters into this game if you want to just have a different character. These characters have no individual stats. There's nothing different. Wolverine is going to play the same exact as the other 3 characters. So you could conceivably bring any of them other miniatures into this game and use them instead if you'd like to play as, Nightcrawler or, even Professor X in here or, Cable or whoever. Yeah, so those are the 4 miniatures, which are definitely neat for the time. The other components in here, and there's not many, you can see my wall is falling down. It's just kind of backed. It's probably supposed to be like that one on the outside and this one on the inside. There we go. You're going to get 4 little chits for each different villains. We have Sabretooth. We have the blue ones, which are Apocalypse. Red ones, which are Magneto. And brown ones, which are a Juggernaut. So each player gets 1 stack of one each of the 4 different villains, and then as you capture villains that have this little hole in the box, you'll drop them in there. So if I'm playing Wolverine and I capture Juggernaut or I defeat him, I drop his token in there. And then if I get Magneto, I drop him, and then Sabretooth. And you can see these tiles are also kind of decorated. And then finally Apocalypse. You drop all 4 of your tiles in, you win the game. That is the basic premise. There's no extra things. And then now, so how do you actually then play it? How do you win? How do you capture guys? Stuff like that. Let's take Wolverine. There is a starting spot on the board, a big giant arrow that says starting, and then you'll see there's the 4 different colored circles that match the different colors. And then what we do is we have this spinner here. So this is basically why the game is very simple. It has no extra mechanics. You spin the thing. So as Wolverine, I spun red. I moved to the next red one in line. That one happens to have Magneto on it. I've captured Magneto. I put my token in there. Then if I have my next character, the second player is Cyclops, he'll spin. He spun brown. He'll move to the first brown spot. And that's what you do is you just keep going around the board until you happen to spin the right thing to land on each character. And then if you get all the way back around, so Wolverine's went all the way around the board, and he gets back around, he'll go back to the start over, and recycle through. So it's all gambling, it's all luck. Because you could be going through, you could rotate the board, go through the board several times, and just happen to never land on Magneto. Because every time you land on a red, you've already passed him, or every time you're trying to find Juggernaut, you rolled to brown, you've already went past him. There's no extra cards, there's no character mechanics to do anything else, in the game, so it's very simple. The other thing of the game are the hazards, which there are 4 of. There is the fire hazard, so you have to cross through the fires. There's the wall that you have to get over. There is the bridge up here at top. So your characters will have to move across the bounce beam on the bridge. And then there are the double towers, which your character will have to climb up this tower, and then they'll have to jump from the other one, and then climb back down. Now, I do find it interesting that this has ladders on the back wall to show you're climbing up there. There's nothing on these towers. You just somehow apparently scale the side of a building, and then jump over and scale back down. And now they do have the little start thing to start and go this direction. I wish they had, I'm zoom down here, I wish they had arrows saying, go to this one, then go to this tower, then come back around, so you knew which way to go. It's fairly easy to follow, but you already put some arrows on the board, why not put more? So the question is, how do you beat one of these? So if Wolverine here is trying to beat this fire challenge, you can see there's a white X on the other side, and it has a multicolored circle. So what you do in that case is you pick a color. So if I want to get through, let's say I'm going to pick yellow. I think I'm going to spin yellow to get through the fire. I did not get a yellow. Now, let's say it landed on brown. All I do is I fail. I just have to sit here until I get it. So the next turn comes around, I'm like, alright, let's try blue. I got a blue. I succeeded. Now you get to move through to the next spot. Then your following turn, you continue all the way through. The only other thing is, if you happen to land on the white arrow, or the white line, you automatically pass, regardless of what color you said. But again, this also adds into that kind of luck-based system, because you could sit there for how many turns in a row and keep guessing the wrong color and never hit white. While everyone else is moving around the board, they could pass you 3-4 times, because there's no other extra rules. So yeah, this is a very simple game. And what it does, it's not complex. I could see definitely, if this got remade to be thrown on the shelves for, hey, new X-Men movie comes out, or you adapt, even add other Marvel characters, or add standees instead of the figures, so you can have more different characters, comes with 10 different characters, has different villains you could play as. There's things they could definitely do to make this interesting little game for younger kids to play. Now, again, I'm going to revert back. mention back to my X-Men Alert video when I talked about that one, because I had a lot more complexity to it. This, I think, the idea is very interesting. I think that would be kind of, if you added more components and complexity, you could make a very interesting game like this. The idea of having to go around, capture villains, do stuff, even using the spin wheel is not a bad idea. I prefer if I had to. Here's the game. That's it. It's very simple. Next couple of minutes or whatever for the rest of the video, I'm just going to talk about what I think they could do extra. So if you don't really care, go ahead and click off. Thanks for joining me in this video. Otherwise, you can listen to me ramble about things I think would be neat to change in the game. So I think one thing that would be interesting is you could do dice and then give each character a little power card, which would be an interesting thing to do. So if you gave them dice, so even if every character had the same number of dice in general, so they rolled like, everyone had to roll 4 dice, and then whatever, and if they got, or they rolled like 1 die, and whoever color they got is the color they moved to. So it works the same as the spinner. But then what you could do is when they're battling certain characters or doing certain obstacles, characters could maybe get an ability of rolling additional die, or you'd have the option of maybe rolling 2 dice and you could choose which one to do. Like different player abilities, things could be kind of interesting. When you get to a villain, instead of just capturing them, maybe you have to roll a certain number of dice, and then if you rolled them certain colors on them, so instead of maybe making Magneto or Juggernaut here brown, you make him another white spot. So you move, now I'm fighting Juggernaut, but maybe say he's brown. You stop on him no matter what if you cross the path of a villain. And then maybe you have to roll certain number of dice per whatever their defense is or something like that. And if you roll, he's brown, so if I have to roll, even if you just have the 1 die, I roll 1 die, I roll a brown, I've captured him. I didn't roll a brown, I gotta keep moving. I gotta try again, or you could have the option, you could just sit there and keep trying one villain, or you could just skip over them if you've already captured them. There could be little things like that. Characters have villains have different powers. You could even, again, expand the game completely. Instead of having specific villains on the board, have villain cards, and then, so if I landed on this space, it's a villain. I have the villain card that's currently out, that whoever we're trying to fight. So instead of it being there's these 4 villains in here, at the current time, everyone's trying to fight Juggernaut. All 4 characters are trying to defeat Juggernaut, to see who can beat him first, maybe by dodging the other hazards, get to the villain. Then you roll dice, and you have to get like so many hits on him, or so many different things. Again, your characters could have stats. Maybe one character's better at clearing obstacles. Maybe one character's better at this or that. There could definitely be some interesting nuances, but you'd have to essentially trash the game and redo it. You could keep the same concept with 3D environments, but also I think even the environments, I wonder if they get old after a while with just the 4 of them. But it's a neat little game. It's fun and interesting. Not too much more to say than that. So that's all I'm going to really say. This is just a short little video. Just thought I'd jump back in. So if you ever see this game sitting out, is it worth picking up? Probably not. You can pick it up at Goodwill or something for $2 or $3, and you want a fun little couple-minute game to play, great. The only thing is, if you're missing the chitlets or the spinner's broken, you can probably recreate them. The miniatures are missing, that's half the game. But if the any of the 3D environments broken or missing, it almost makes them unplayable. And again, they kind of warp after time. Again, this game is from '94, so it's almost 30 years old at this point. It just hurts me to say that. So that's kind of fun. Alright, so that's what we got for this. If you guys enjoy these kind of look at classic games, let me know. We get to Spawn in the background. I'll probably look at that one at some point as well. Otherwise, yes, see you guys later. Bye.